Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another Houdini tutorial. So I haven't been around much, and it's because about 2 weeks ago I got COVID, and my throat is still a little sore. I still cough sometimes, so I'm trying to keep this video short and to the point. But before we start, this is my Behance profile. You can check out my stuff there. I usually post here before posting on Instagram or Twitter, so you can be one of the first people to view my project. So if you're interested, just give me a follow. And yeah, for example, this is my latest project, Awaken. I am thinking about turning this into an NFT, but I still haven't decided yet. All right, in this video, we are going to be talking about Heart of Ice. Well, we're not going to be covering this project entirely. We are going to be covering the icicle effect. Let's take a look at the video. We have this ballerina dancing, we have snow simulation, we have some simulation on the ground, which gave us this snowy effect. We have some modeling here, everything is done in Houdini, and yeah, this is our icicles. We are going to be covering how to generate these icicles. I'm going to be using a sphere instead of this model, which by the way, the model is by Paul Marks. It's available on Sketchfab. You can just download it from there, or you can just follow along with the sphere. I prefer doing it on a sphere because it's simpler here. And after that, I'm just going to show you my own project. I'm going to do a simple breakdown on other stuff. But yeah, our main focus is going to be on the icicle effect. These are just some other shots from this project. I particularly like this one. And yeah, let's jump into Houdini. Alright, so we're in Houdini. I'm just going to put down a sphere and jump inside. I turn this into a polygon. Let's bring the frequency up to like 150. Yeah, a lot of frequency. I'm just going to put down an attribute warp. Dive inside. P to P. Displace along normal. And let's just put down a AA noise. Connect it to a mount. Yeah, this is good. I'm gonna copy this anti-alias noise and just connect the noise output to this position. Change this into a 3D noise. Alright, good. Now, I'm gonna bring the roughness down. Yeah, this is an interesting shape. I like it. Let's play. You know what? Let's actually, before doing that, I'm gonna put down a mountain in here. Yeah, this is better. I'm gonna bring the roughness down. I want my shape to be a little more interesting, so something like this. And then I'm gonna apply. Oh yeah, this is very interesting. So by the way, you can just use any model that you want. We're going to be covering how to do a frozen effect. It doesn't matter what the geometry is. You can do something else in here as well if you want. You can put down another anti-alias noise and just connect this to your scale. And now on some parts of your geometry, you're gonna get this. Now let me connect it to CD. And we can see where we're gonna get our displacement. So just connect it back. If you bring the amplitude up, you can see how you're manipulating your geometry. I'm gonna put down a fit range in here. Anti-alias noise gives us a value between minus 0.5 and 0.5, so you can just put that in here. And yeah, this is an interesting shape. We're getting some displacement. Some parts are going to stay clean. You can just play with the frequency, something like that. I am not going to be doing that in this project because I actually really like this effect. Let's play with it a little bit. Maybe Yeah, okay. Offsetting this thing as well, and maybe actually going back here on our mountain node and offsetting our shape. Yeah, these are all very interesting. I like them. Not this one in particular, but okay, yeah, I like this one. All right, we're gonna put down a null. By the way, you can colorize your nodes by just permanently colorize them by holding down Control and clicking on these colors while you're selecting them. And from now on, every time you put down a null, it's going to be in this color. I like keeping them red, and I'm just going to say in geo. So I know that this is my initial geometry. I'm getting some intersections in here. I don't like them. So let's do this. Let's put down a VDB from polygons. Bring the voxel size down, and let's convert back to polygons, and it's fine now. In between, you can put down smooth SDF, and yeah, this is better. We are losing some of our details in here. Maybe play with this value 0.005. Okay, yeah, something like this. You can also just let's not do that. Actually, let's bring it back to 0.01. You can go back here, play with your values, maybe another shape. For example, something like this seems actually much better. It's not intersecting that much. We do have some intersections in here. You can just play with your values and find something that isn't giving you any artifacts, any intersections. Maybe something like this. Okay, yeah, this looks better. Let me look inside, make sure not having any intersections. Having some small intersections in here, but I don't think it matters. Right, so actually we didn't need the VDB. But the VDB workflow is actually the standard workflow. Whenever you have like intersections or something like that, you can do that. And I mean, you can actually keep it and put down another mountain node, for example, after it. For example, this is our shape, and then we just put down another mountain, bring the height down, play with these values, and you can add details on top of it. It's pretty awesome. I like it. And how many points do we have here? About 200,000. Yeah, we're on a good number, right? And yeah, as you can see, we're adding details. It doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna put this on the side, connect it directly. It's fine. No need to worry about it. So we're gonna do the frozen effect with a pyro node. Let's put down pyro source. I'm gonna come here, say surface scatter. In the particle separation, I'm gonna go with 0.025, maybe 0.02. Okay, yeah, this is a good value. I'm gonna click plus. I'm gonna say temperature, and I'm gonna set it to 0. All right. Let's come back here. I'm gonna scatter. Let's say 3 points, maybe 4 points. Yeah. I put down a sphere. Make the sphere smaller. Select both of them. Put down a copy to points. Okay, yeah, this is good. I'm gonna come to my pyro source and put down a group node. Connect this to the bounding object. Come here, uncheck this, go to bounding regions, and go with the bounding object. And we need to change this into points. All right, so I'm gonna call this start group. And we're gonna put down an attribute wrangle. Don't worry, it's not complicated code. I'm just gonna type f at temperature equals to 1. That's it. And right now, if I visualize my temperature, we're gonna be having this. So let's put down a pyro spread. Very simple. Let's bring the cooling rate back down to like 0.4 maybe. Yeah, this looks good. You can actually bring the rate down or up to affect the speed. If you bring it too much on the low side, it's going to be too slow, but I kind of like it in here. I think this is good. Let's take a look at our diffusion. Maybe bring the element size down a little bit. Let's see. Let's look at other noises. This one looks interesting, but it doesn't really look like ice. Oh no. Manhattan Whirly. Yeah, this is interesting. I like it. And let me bring the element size down. Maybe make the cool parts a little bigger. Okay, let's take a look at our temperature now. It's going. I like the shape. We're having these parts in the middle that are not being affected. I like that. And yeah, overall, this is a very good shape effect. All right, so we're gonna put down a group expression. I'm just gonna call this infected group. Change it to points. The pyrosource spread gives us a lot of attributes. I'm going to be using the burn attribute. I'm going to say wherever burn is not equal to 0, select that point. All right, cool. And I'm just going to put down a blast. And blast infected group. And I'm just going to check delete non-selected. So we're getting this shape. All right, very interesting. Now we are going to be basically generating 2 branches in here. So on one branch, we're going to be generating our ice effect, basically this thing. Let me show you the ice on the geometry. And on the other branch, we're going to be generating the actual icicles. So I'm just going to come here. On the left side, we're going to be doing the icy effect. I'm just going to type VDB, VDB particles, and we need to bring the search radius down. Point radius, voxel size, let's set it to 0.01 for the time being, and the point radius 0.02 for example. Too low. 0.05, still too low. 0.1. We're getting something, but it's actually not that good. So let's make it bigger so we can see it. All right, yeah, something like that. And I'm just gonna put down a reshape. All right, yeah, this is good. Okay, yeah, this is good enough for what we're going to be doing here. Very interesting shape, and it, as you can see, it's pretty fast. We can manipulate your pyrosource, add more points, and you can get a better resolution here. All right, let's generate our icicle. So we're going to put down a popnet. We are going to come up here. We have this ingeo. I'm just going to copy that, dive inside, down a static object, merge them together. You can put down a static solver in here. It doesn't do much, but it's better. I'm gonna point to my ingeo. All right. I'm gonna uncheck this guide. I'm gonna come here and say points, because I don't want to have it on all my points. If I set it to all points, it's just gonna put everything on top of each other. It's not nice. I'm gonna say points, and I'm gonna come to my birth tab, and I'm gonna say like 5. So we are going to be getting these values. Now, my static object is actually not that good right now, as you can see. Yeah, and we're scattering them on the surface. So I'm just going to come out here. Let's take a look. Why is there a distance? Oh yeah, it's a p-scale attribute. I forgot we had a p-scale attribute, so I'm just going to put on attribute delete. And I'm going to actually, let's just delete all the attributes. We don't really need that, need anything. Right, go. So we're generating our points. Basically, these points are going to be our starting points for the icicle effect. I'm just going to dive inside. I'm going to put down a pop wrangle in here. I'm going to say v at v point y is equal to a random number based on the @ pt num. So what's going to happen here? Let me just jump right here. I'm going to visualize my v attribute. Right, so I'm generating a random value for my velocity. Now it's pointing up and we don't want that, so let's multiply it by 1 minus 1, so they're going to be falling down. All right, good. I'm also going to add a gravity node in here, gravity force, so everything is going to be pointing down. All right, good. Actually, let's just come here, say v at v equals to 0. And now, all right, yeah, it looks correct now because it wasn't functioning the way I wanted. Yeah, and I'm just gonna come here, say fit 0, 1, because this random number is putting out the output of this function is between 0 and 1, and I'm just gonna fit this value between 0.1, as I don't want them to have a velocity of 0, and let's say 5. I think we actually don't need the gravity right now. Yeah, actually we don't need that. When I enable it, as you can see, it's not doing much for us. All right, so came back down. Yeah, I'm gonna put down a pop drag because I want to slow it down. Let's say like 100. Yeah, that looks good. So we're generating random points based on the points that we're already having in here. So we're giving this input to our popnet, and our popnet is just randomly selecting some of these points, basically 5 of them each second. We can bring this up to like 10. We're gonna have more, but they're gonna pile up, especially in the beginning. So I prefer putting down 5. And also in the constant activation, I'm gonna write $ff bigger than 24. So what's going to happen here is that on the first 24 frames, we're not going to be having any particles. And the reason is, well, the first frames, everything is close to each other. And I also don't want any icicle forming in the first second. I don't know if it makes sense. It's going to make sense in a little bit. I'm going to come back to it. All right, so we'll just let this thing run. Good. I'm going to put down a trail sop. I'm gonna come here, say connect as polygons, and let's type $ff and check. Why is it? Escape. Houdini's frozen. Oh yeah, I get it. I forgot, I should put down pop in here so that we're not actually bringing everything, and yeah, it's fine. You need to put down pop, or actually the better way, pop object 1 or pop object, well, what's it called? Pop object, yeah. Because we don't want to bring the static object out here. So yeah, this is good. We're trailing them. These are going to be our icicles. I'm just going to put down a resample node in here, and I'm gonna check curve view. It's always good to have the curve view attribute. It's very useful. So curve view is giving us this attribute on each of these curves, starting from 0 and ending in 1. And well, we're just going to put down an attribute swap, dive inside, bind, and bind export. Just select both of them, type curve view. Or actually, I mean, if you don't want to actually affect your curve view, you can just call this on a width, something like that. Just connect them here. Put down a fit range. Maybe before putting down the fit range, we can actually put down a ramp parameter as well. Change this to spline. We're going to come here, right click, go Vex options and create input parameters. Alright, so when we come here, up here we have some options. Now, what I wanted to do here is putting down a polywire. Now, I want to use this curve view, which, well, it's now width. I'm just gonna type @ width, and well, it looks terrible, I know that. First of all, let's change this to 8. Now we're gonna come here, and on our attribute swap, we are gonna change it like this, and now we're getting our icicle shapes. Cool, looks good. And we can use this to manipulate the shape. For example, maybe you want to make some part smaller, some part bigger, something like that. I'm not going to touch it. I just put it for in case I need it. So VDB from polygons 0.01. Yeah, looks good. And then we're just gonna combine these two branches together. So let's put down VDB combine. Gonna come here, change to STF union. Yeah, this looks good. Maybe put down a smooth STF before that in here on our icicles. And this was the original shape. This is this one. And then just put down another smooth STF after that. Yeah. And if you don't like the shape, you can just simply change the speed if it's too short. I don't know. Convert VDB again, convert it to polygons, and yeah, we have our shape. Looks pretty nice. I'm actually very happy with this. If you don't like it, again, you can just manipulate your geometry, manipulate this reshape node. If these are sticking out too much, you can just go with like a value like 3, and it's gonna get resolved. I mean, it's gonna make it bigger, but it's fine. Let's come inside. Let's say, let's put it between 7.5. So we're gonna get more movement. Also, maybe actually just go to 10 so that we have more icicles. All right. Yeah. This is an interesting look. I like it. So let's come here. We're gonna select these, merge them together, and now we have our geometry with this IC effect, and you can put down a mountain node in here. Obviously, bring the height down. Play with this so you get something interesting. Okay, something like this, and maybe colorize it so it's obvious which parts are our frozen geometry. Oh yeah, this is nice. And again, you can just put whatever geometry you want here. And I think it's actually pretty fast. As you can see, I'm scrolling through the timeline and it's pretty much real time. Yeah, it's awesome. All right. This is too thin, so maybe 0.05, something like that. Again, if you're not happy with this, you can actually put down an attribute swap. I'm just gonna come here, copy this attribute that swap that I have here. Let's dive inside. One anti-alias noise is enough. Let's bring the scale to 0.0, no, 0.1. It's not not that interesting yet. Oh, 0.5. Frequency, let's play with the frequency. Okay, yeah, we're getting somewhere. And now we're gonna just put down a fit range, because again, as I said, this value is between minus 0.5 and 0.5, and now we're not gonna be getting any artifacts on the inside, but you should play with the scale to get something that you actually like. And yeah, something like this. I'm still not really happy with this shape, so let's just play with it. Affect the amplitude maybe. Okay, yeah, this is much nicer. Oh, I like this. It's actually really good. So again, whichever you prefer, I kind of like both of them. Let's stick to the uh, attribute swap version. Now, in the end, you're just gonna have to put down two groups. Let's just bring it down here. I'm gonna call this one Geo group. Call this one Frozen group. Frozen group. And I'm gonna put down a material node. I'm just gonna say frozen, and then geo. I'm gonna give it the material slash mat slash frozen and slash mat slash geo. Right. So I still haven't made the actual material RS mat builder. Let's call this one geo. And as you can see, when I apply it, they became lighter, the color, so I know I'm applying everything correctly. And frozen, and yeah, we're good. Basically what I did there is same with just generating this RS material, copying it, going here and just paste it. Since I know this is going to be the address, I just type the name and then specify it later in the mat section. I don't like going between context so much, so I just generate everything in here, and then I'm done and I can focus on the materials. All right, this is good. All right, so we're near the end. I'm just gonna put down a camera. Let's look at our object from, I don't know, maybe some from here. Yeah, this looks nice. All right, I'm gonna put down some lights. Our light, the left side. Let's come here. Our light on the right side. Good. And we're gonna have a rim light. Okay. Let's jump back out. Make it bigger. Select all of them. Come to light, unchecked visible. Yeah, good. Save the scene. Go to camera. Say render view. See what we have. All right, yeah, looks good. Now we're gonna go to frozen. We can use the water uh, preset or like a tinted glass, and come here, change the tint to something like this. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Also, uh, let's just come here under redshift, isolation, and check enable displacements. So I like having displacement on my ice material. Uh, Displacement, connect the displacement in here, save the scene, max on noise, make the scale 0.01. Look at the max on noise, maybe FPM. I love FPM, such cool noise. Disconnect it here. Probably still needs some manipulation, but yeah, we're getting there. I kind of like the shape now. Let's just go to our geometry, maybe change it to like iron or something like that. Oh no, it doesn't look good. Yeah, let's just create our own material. You can put down noises, stuff like that. Put down a color like this. Don't want any roughness. Alright, good. Let's go back. Let's look at our lights. Light number 3, right? This is the rim light. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Light number 2. Let's look at it from the side. Something like that. Light number 1. Sorry. Alright, yeah, this is good. I like it. I mean, you can just put down different stuff in here. Put down material blender. Copy this one. Connect it here. Maybe change the color. I don't know. Like this. Put down accent noise again. Create something interesting. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've done this technique so much over all videos that you guys probably know what's gonna happen here. We're just gonna play with the values, maybe something like this. I don't know. Maybe bring the roughness down a little bit. All right, maybe add some color in here. Too much. Yeah, something like that. Looks good. Let's go back to our frozen material. We can play with the roughness, make it rougher. I mean, obviously this is not a icicle anymore, so be aware of that. It's pretty much like a goo or something like that. But yeah, you can just play with everything. You can actually play with the color of your refraction, generate something interesting there. Maybe play with subsurface, add some scatter scale. Yeah, something like that. Let's make this lighter. Then just play with the absorption scale. Yeah, that's the basic process. You can put down a max on noise. Let's go to electric. Let's look at it. Something like this, maybe. Just connect it to the reflection roughness. Maybe it gets more interesting. I don't know. It all depends on the scene that you're trying to generate here. Overall, this is a good shape. I'm kind of happy with it. We're not going to be focusing too much on the rendering part in this video. You can just move around, this is too light. Pick a frame that you like, maybe something like this, maybe zoomed in version. And again, as I said, the best part about this setup is that you can change your geometry to whatever you want and you can still get the results. It really doesn't depend on your input. Maybe actually add the tessellation here as well, just to make sure we're not getting any weird artifacts or anything like that, right? Maybe play with this material. Let's go with like copper. It was kind of interesting. What else? Let's just put down another material, RS material. Maybe keeping it simpler is actually better. It's a unified color. Make it a little lighter. No. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can also enable volumetrics. Let's do that. I love volumetrics. Advanced volume scattering. Let's come up here. Click on the RS light. Let's bring the contribution scale up a little bit. Bring the spread down. Not too much. Forgot to select the light. Lock it. Alright, can move it now. So yeah, you can do whatever you want. Very interesting shapes, very interesting designs. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I am going to show my version of the setup next, because I think that might also be interesting. Oh, by the way, let me actually put down a curvature. I kind of want to try that as well. Convex 0.02. 0.02. Yeah, this looks interesting. And yeah, let's use that as the mask. Let's see how things look here. And yeah, this is much more interesting. I kind of like it now. Can play with our values, come to our copper, maybe change it a little bit. Just something like this. Oh yeah, this is very interesting. Oh, I like this. And you can actually put down a bump map if you want. Connect this to the bump and set this to the input. And just put down -1 here if you want. You can also put down a displacement instead of a bump if that works better for you. I don't know. Displacement is going to change the curvature, so you need to be careful about that. 0.01. Shouldn't have connected it directly because now it's gonna get crazy. Refresh the scene. Okay, as you can see, we're now adding some displacement. Again, it's up to you, whichever you prefer. I'm kind of good with the bump. I think that's a good look. You can again come to your first material, put down like a color layer, connect this to the diffuse color. Well, black is actually kind of nice. Kind of like that. Maybe I should just stick to black. Dark value. Yeah, this is actually quite interesting. So yeah, let's connect the color layer down, accent noise, connect it here to the mask. Maybe change this to light value so that I can see what I'm doing here. Booyah, maybe. Let's take a look at our booyah noise. directly. It's gonna be something like that. Make it bigger. Something like that. All right, yeah. Change the color to whiter shade, such as this thing. And yeah, we're good to go. I'm happy with this. Pretty happy. The only thing I'm not happy with is the color of the light and the overall shape of the volumetric light. So let's make it smaller. I mean, the volumetric light isn't actually necessary in this scene. Just kind of want to have something going on in here. Why am I actually not getting any? Maybe, yeah, okay. Getting something to spread. Play with the spread. Set it to something like this. All right, yeah. Maybe add some octaves to your booyah noise, and maybe add some color in here as well. It's more interesting. Maybe something like this actually kind of helps the effect. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're done here. Just gonna let this render. I'm still gonna play with the final version for the thumbnail. Let me bring my own setup. I'm just gonna talk very quickly about what I did in my own version. Yeah, let's take a look at the ballerina. We have a simple rotating shape in here. It's not anything fancy. We just have this thing. I just did the same technique with the frozen effect that I just showed you guys. This is our effect, our icicles. They look really nice. I'm really happy with this. I just combine them together again and just add some colors. Very simple. We have our snow simulation, which is just very simple particle simulation. I had to cache it because I have collisions. And yeah, this is our very simple particle simulation. I have a, shouldn't have jumped inside. I have a pop axis force, pop wind, pop drag, all the normal stuff. I have some collisions. I generated this shape right here. Kind of looks like a snow thingy particle, snow shape, whatever you want to call it. It's so small, it doesn't really matter. Very simple. I just generated the basic shape and just used a copy transform. We have our dry ice, which is literally the preset for dry ice here. Where is it? Dry ice. We have the glass, and I have a attribute in here which affects my roughness. I just generated an attribute WAP, use the noise. I called this attribute math roughness, and on my material section on my glass, I just import that as a particle attribute. What else? We have these lines in here, very simple. I'm just using a using the outside of the glass. I just remesh it, sort the points, put down a starting points in here, put down endpoints, and then just put down the find shortest path. Very simple. Use the start group and end group, and then just when I put down a carve node, just gonna grow, take over the whole thing. I fuse them together because there's going to be multiple points on top of each other. As you can see here, very messy. So when you fuse them together, everything is resolved. And then just define a p-scale. And by the way, the find shortest path by default puts down an attribute called cost, which kind of actually works like a resample node, but it goes on the overall thing. So you can just use that to define your p-scale. Very simple. What else do we have in here? We have our base, which is some very simple hard surface modeling. Basically put down a circle, affect it, blast parts of it, extrude them, copy stuff. It's very simple, very easy. So yeah, that's the base. What else do we have here? We have the floor, just some object, some boxes copied to some points, and then just clipping them and stuff like that. Yeah. What else do we have in here? We have the gears. Again, very simple. I just bring in circle, blast these parts using the add sub. I just bring the points, extract the points, scale them with the uniform scale, merge them together, another add with the attribute ID, which I'm defining here, and setting this to equal to ptnum, and then just sweeping them, sweeping the inside, sweeping the outside, and then just merging everything together. We have our gear shape. I want this gear to go up and down, so I put down a motion, a chop network, motion effects. I used a wave. Let's take a look. This is my wave, this is my noise, and then I'm just using them, combining them together, this math, and multiplying them, and then just exporting it out as this noise. And yeah, it just goes up and down very slowly. So when I look at them all together, it's going to be like this. And I just put down a transform with the keyframe, or you can just keyframe or put down a expression minus frame here, so that it moves around. And yeah, we're pretty much done. Just subdivide it, copy it over in here, creating another version of it. And by the way, I'm subdividing this one because I'm going to use it as a collision in my snow simulation, and then just caching everything. You don't have to cache it, but I wanted everything to be as fast as possible outside here, and moving parts can make it slow. So yeah, that's why. Check this cost, and yeah, that's the scene. Very simple, very easy. It just takes some time to set up the materials and the lighting and stuff like that. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's done. I hope you like this tutorial. I tried to keep this one very short, very to the point. I'm still going to play with these values. For example, the roughness on the frozen object isn't quite right. We're having a lot of roughness on these parts, and actually that's not very correct. So let's, I'm just gonna change that very quick, and then we're gonna be done with this tutorial. We shouldn't have too much white parts in here. That's basically the thing. So in all honesty, maybe electric wasn't the best noise here. What about booyah? Okay, let's stick to booyah, but I'm gonna scale it in this direction to something, or actually maybe this direct, no, this one, maybe, but yeah, something like this maybe. I don't know. Let me check it. If it's good, I'm just gonna stick to this one, and if I don't like it, maybe change it the other direction. Yeah, maybe this one's better. I don't know. And yeah, that's it. We're done here. You can just continue working on it. You can change the material. If you don't like the colors, you can just play with them, change it to something that you enjoy, something that you like. If this thing, the copper material is too much, you can just make this one bigger, the value, and just it's gonna affect the overall look. Maybe make it actually smaller, not bigger, something like this, 0.01. Yeah, that's kind of maybe more interesting. I don't know. Again, everything depends on your taste. Maybe something like this is much better, maybe cooler. I don't know. Why did I close that? So yeah, I'm just gonna let this thing render one more time and we're gonna be done. All right, so at the end, I just changed a couple of values here. For example, on the attribute VOP, I changed the frequency of the noise, the displacement values. I disabled this smooth SDF here, which is going to give us longer icicles. And I just came to my material, the frozen material, and bumped this scatter scale to 6, which as you can see is giving us this nice value on top of the geometry. Like these parts are going to pretty much stay the same, but as I bump this up, you can see we're actually getting something that looks like an ice. You can cheat it in here and like straight up put a solid material, which by the way kind of looks cool, and play with the values, play with the color, maybe something like this. I don't know, it's up to you. If you're happy with it, then it's okay. uh, Again, you can just add refraction, maybe a tiny bit of refraction, I don't know. I mean, this is pretty much cheating, but I mean the results kind of look nice, and you can add some scatter scale in here, maybe some absorption here, bring the refraction up a little bit, and yeah, you can have something like this. Again, I prefer approaching it in a more physically correct way, but it doesn't really matter. You can just, you know, uh, do whatever you want in here. As long as it looks good, then it's fine. I just brought down the diffuse value to 0 to just play with this. Maybe add some absorption. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it doesn't look like ice, but it is interesting, you know. Or maybe have something like this, and obviously the absorption scale should be way, way down. I just realized I ended up with the exact same material that I had there. So in the end, I think you're gonna want to use the same technique. All right, we're done here. I think it's a cool effect. It's actually going to be very helpful if you want to simulate freezing stuff. You can just combine it with like a particle simulation, and it's gonna look nice. So as a kind of another example for this project, I decided to bring Alfred, which is one of 3D Scan's awesome models, which you can just download from the website. I changed the size, brought it to the center, and yeah, I just did the same thing we did there. I changed the input, just the same points, everything is the same. I played a little with the points here. I added 50, and I played with these values a little bit because I wanted to get better results. And For example, this is our icicles. Yeah. And we also have the frozen part. I'm not the biggest fan of this shape in here. Let me take a look at my pyro spread. And yeah, it's probably because of the diffusion or something like that. Yeah. I'm just gonna delete this. Maybe bring it over here. Play with the values a little bit. And yeah, this seems better. So let's just play the simulation. Okay, and why am I not getting anything? Oh, I'm on frame 1. Good. Okay, yeah, we're getting our icicles. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Now, as you can see, we can just get very different results, just changing the geometry, changing the shape. I added this smooth node in here, smoothing things a little bit. Then I put down the warp, attribute warp, I subdivide it to get better results. You can just leave it at this original subdivision, it's fine. I just decided to subdivide it a little bit as well. And yeah, that's it. Again, another example. It's gonna end up looking something like this. You can also tweak some stuff in your material. Let me show you. For example, well, I'm not doing anything there. You can just add a bump map and it's gonna help with the setup. Let me bring it over. We're adding these tiny parts in here. And yeah, as you can see, very simple, very effective. It's a nice effect. You can just use it whenever you need any sort of freezing effect or something like that. I also changed a couple of parameters on my subsurface. For example, I brought the scatter scale way up to 5 because I think it's giving us better results. I played with phase. I changed the where is it? The IOR, for example. If you leave the IOR at the default value, you're not going to see this top part. Light is not going to be broken enough, so I just brought this value up, and as you can see, it looks better. And yeah, that's it. I promise this is the final time I say that's it. I'm just gonna show you how this thing looks. You can just change your values, you can change the geometry, you can bring whatever you want, just resim this, and yeah, that's it. Thank you, bye bye.